It's official. Those two words were enough to send shockwaves through the internet before anyone even reached the rest of the announcement. Within minutes, timelines froze, group chats exploded, and disbelief turned into chaos as fans realized what they were reading was real. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson were reuniting, not for nostalgia, not for a cameo, but for a major 2026 project that no one saw coming. The timing alone made the news feel unreal. There had been no credible leaks, no steady stream of rumors warming people up to the idea. For years, both actors had carefully avoided being linked to the same project, even when opportunities clearly existed. That long silence made the confirmation feel less like a routine casting update and more like a cultural interruption. Almost instantly, fans were pulled back into memories they thought were long settled. Their previous on-screen partnership had been one of the most talked about, debated, and emotionally charged pairings of the last decade. Some remembered obsession, others controversy, and many remembered how impossible it was to look away. Love it or hate it, their chemistry had left a permanent mark on pop culture. What intensified the reaction was how divided the emotions were. Excitement clashed with skepticism, nostalgia collided with caution, and enthusiasm was tempered by fear of disappointment. People weren't just reacting to a casting choice, they were reacting to what that pairing represented in their own memories. For some, it symbolized a moment in time they weren't ready to revisit. The announcement itself was strikingly minimal. No dramatic build-up, no emotional quotes, just a confirmation that felt almost clinical compared to the frenzy it caused. That restraint only fueled speculation, making fans question what kind of project could justify such secrecy. The lack of detail created a vacuum, and the internet rushed to fill it. Many questioned why now. Both actors had evolved significantly since they last shared the screen, carving out careers that deliberately distanced them from that earlier chapter. Jamie had leaned into roles emphasizing depth and restraint, while Dakota built a reputation for choosing unconventional, character-driven projects. Their reunion suggested something had shifted, either in the industry or in how they viewed that shared past. As reactions poured in, one theme kept resurfacing. This didn't feel accidental. Fans sensed intention behind the timing, the scale, and the decision to make it official without testing public response first. That confidence hinted at a project designed to confront expectations rather than avoid them. It raised the stakes far beyond a typical collaboration. Social media quickly became a battlefield of opinions. Some celebrated the return with unfiltered excitement, convinced this reunion would redeem unfinished business. Others expressed concern, worrying that revisiting such a polarizing pairing risked reopening old criticism. Yet even the skeptics couldn't deny one thing: everyone was paying attention. Industry observers also weighed in, noting how rare it was for two stars so closely associated with a specific era to willingly step back into the spotlight together. Reunions often rely on nostalgia alone, but this announcement positioned the project as forward-looking. The implication was clear: this wasn't about repeating the past, but challenging it. What made the moment linger was the emotional whiplash it caused. Fans weren't given time to ease into the idea, they were thrust directly into it. That shock forced people to confront unresolved feelings, whether admiration, frustration, or curiosity. The announcement became less about the film itself and more about what it stirred up. By the end of the day, the phrase, "Reunite for 2026, carried more weight than anyone expected. It wasn't just a promise of a future hit, it was a reopening of a conversation many believed was closed. The surprise wasn't that they could work together again, but that they chose to. As the dust settled, one question remained louder than all the rest. Was this reunion driven by commercial certainty, or by something unfinished that only this pairing could resolve? With no answers yet and anticipation only growing, the announcement achieved something rare. It didn't just inform the public, it emotionally activated it. As the initial shock began to fade, a deeper wave of questions took its place. People weren't just asking what the 2026 project would be, but why this reunion had been deemed necessary now. For Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, Agreeing to work together again meant confronting a legacy that had followed them for years. That decision alone suggested a level of intention far beyond nostalgia. Sources close to the production hinted that the script itself was a major factor. Unlike their previous collaboration, this project was reportedly built around maturity, emotional complexity, and restraint rather than provocation. The roles were said to reflect where both actors are now, not where they were when they first captured global attention together. That distinction mattered, especially to fans worried about repetition. There was also the reality of risk. Reuniting meant reopening old conversations, comparisons, and criticisms that neither actor needed at this stage of their career. Both had spent years carefully reshaping their public identities, proving they were more than the roles that made them famous. Choosing to reunite signaled confidence, but also a willingness to be re-evaluated. Industry analysts pointed out that Hollywood rarely grants second chances without clear incentive. A reunion of this scale implied not only strong belief in the project, but trust between the actors themselves. Whatever distance once existed had likely been replaced by mutual respect, shaped by time and separate experiences. That evolution was something audiences could sense, even without confirmation. Fan reactions continued to evolve as speculation deepened. Some began revisiting old interviews, searching for overlooked clues or moments of unresolved tension. Others focused on how differently both actors spoke about their careers now, noting a shared emphasis on creative freedom and meaningful storytelling. Those parallels fueled the idea that this reunion was less about chemistry and more about alignment. What made the situation especially compelling was the absence of defensive messaging. Neither Jamie nor Dakota rushed to justify the decision publicly. There were no long explanations, no attempts to reassure skeptical fans. That silence suggested they were prepared to let the work speak for itself, even if that meant enduring weeks of debate beforehand. Behind the excitement, there was also a sense of pressure. Expectations were no longer neutral, they were emotionally charged. Fans weren't just hoping for a good film, they were hoping for resolution, redemption, or even closure. That kind of projection can be both powerful and dangerous, especially when tied to memories rather than reality. As conversations unfolded, one idea became increasingly clear. This reunion wasn't trying to erase the past, nor was it leaning into it completely. Instead, it seemed positioned as a confrontation with what once was, filtered through growth and distance. That approach carried the potential to surprise in ways nostalgia alone never could. Critics speculated that the 2026 project could redefine how audiences view both actors together. Success would mean proving that time changes context, that the same pairing can carry a completely different emotional weight years later. Failure, on the other hand, would reinforce the belief that some chapters are best left closed. Either outcome made the reunion impossible to ignore. As months stretch ahead with little official detail, anticipation continues to build in a quieter, more deliberate way. The initial frenzy has settled into curiosity, and curiosity into cautious optimism. Fans may still be divided, but they are united in attention, watching closely for the next signal. In the end, what makes this reunion so powerful isn't certainty, but possibility. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson didn't just agree to work together again, they agreed to step back into a conversation that never fully ended. Whether the 2026 hit becomes a triumph or a risk that didn't pay off, the decision itself has already reshaped the narrative. Sometimes, the boldest move isn't starting something new, but daring to return with something to prove.